All right, guys, the watch list for Thursday, August 24th. I'm showing you this first because I'm just reminding everyone if you haven't registered, it's kind of just an RSVP thing. We're doing a happy hour right at the closing bell tomorrow. It's just going to be a webinar format, but not a structured webinar with slides and lectures and all that. It's going to be more like a bunch of traders getting together at the pub after work talking about trading. So that's kind of, we've never done this before. We thought it might be fun. It might be a huge flop. Who knows? But I am going to be drinking some Crown Royal, and hope you all have some drinks with me, as long as you're not driving, of course. So if you follow me on Twitter or StockTwits, you can look at my thread, and you'll find the link to just get RSVP'd for it. All right, and hoping to see some folks there. We thought we would do it Thursday, right at the close. Right. Okay, so the SPY. Look at that. Just a completely narrow range today. A gap down and just really, I mean, look at that. Basically in a 50-cent range all day. We still found some nice trades, but I mean, that's a really narrow candle. So here's what I'm going to be watching for tomorrow. We had RGC on bounce watch for today because it looked like this, right? Big volume, little green hammer, and then it did this. No trades in it today, but we got to put it back on bounce watch tomorrow. The thing is getting decimated, so I think it's worth watching. PETS gave a huge intraday bounce today. We were watching it. I caught one trade in it, but only made like $170 in that trade. But I think it's still worth watching tomorrow. I mean, this thing's fallen from over 50 to at one point slightly below 32 today before closing. So when I say this is on bounce watch, I'm not that excited about it because this huge tail here was a nice bounce, right? So it already took some of the wind out of our bounces sales, but we still want to have it on watch tomorrow. SBH, I really like this. This thing's been beaten up and it's down at support. I think this is worth watching for a bounce tomorrow. I like shape into support type plays. THC, we had this on watch today. Remember I said a lot of times, you had a nice 2-day move, then one inside red day. It might bounce tomorrow, which would be today. And I actually called this long. I'll zoom in to show you. Called it long right over the half. All right, it opened at 1548, so my idea was 1551, and a pretty nice move all the way up to 1620, closing at its highs, and it goes back on watch for tomorrow because it's still a pretty handsome setup. You get this big 2-day pop, red day, and then a green day. It's kind of, you could argue it's sort of a wishy-washy flag on the daily. So I want to watch THC tomorrow. FOSL. At the end of the day, and this thing's beaten up too. A lot of beaten up stocks out there. This one got some volume on a couple insider buy news posts, 13G, whatever they're called. Couple posts late in the day about a couple insiders buying. I don't think they were huge insider buys, but I did like the volume that it closed out with. So I want to watch that for follow through on that bounce tomorrow. XXII. I actually tweeted this as a swing trade idea, which I never call swing trades. Well, first of all, I called it in chat. Had that big pop. I called it in chat right here at 206 and 207. After the pop on the pullback, I looked at this chart in so many ways. Said, guys, just really love this. It's got great support at 2. It just had nice volume on news, and I like this first pullback here. So got long at 206, 207 in the chat room, and I said if this thing closes strong, it could be a good swing trade. And then when it got back up to about here, I tweeted, I really like this as a swing trade today, with a buy. I don't know if I said it with a buy around here, but it's a nice swing idea. And then especially if it closes strong, and it definitely closed strong. This is what it did. So my thinking is now we bounced off the 20-day. It held 2 was resistance. It was support back here, and it was holding 2 very nicely here, here, here. You had the 20-day there, and I like that volume early. So it ended up being a pretty nice trade for me. I don't hold overnight, or I would still be in some of this. And I said if you're going to swing this, guys, if you took it at 207 with me, you want to sell some on an intraday basis, so you got a little cushion. So hopefully people listen to that advice. And there's probably some people holding that overnight, but we got a nice entry at 207 today. I do want to watch it again tomorrow for another day trade because I do like the high volume kind of break out of this sort of trend line here. So maybe a follow through day tomorrow. IMNP, just a crazy move from 119 to 264 on an intraday basis. It's nice to see these low price stocks moving like this again, at least a couple of them, because I live in the low price stock world. I make most of my money there, and I've had to leave them alone lately because they're not really moving. So when I see stuff like this, I think, hey, maybe these things will get back in favor pretty soon. You can make pretty good money if you get a good intraday setup. Anyway, so for this one, I don't like to watch something that's made this big of a move the next day, but it's going to go on watch for the next week or so. Sometimes the very next day we get a small gap down and then a red to green and another rip. So it goes on watch as early as tomorrow for me. Same exact scenario with SQNS. Big day, big volume for that stock, maybe a red to green, but I want to watch it for the next several days. NPTN, this had a nice volume spike, and if you go to 5-minute candles, you can see it all happened really near the end. So I'm thinking there was news late day, but that's a huge volume push at the end of the day. So again, it's not a beautiful setup, but maybe a follow-through day there tomorrow. That volume, might be telling us something's up. SSW, had trouble with 750 here, then here, and then nice volume to kind of try to push through it. And you see the 200-day there as well as right where it closed. Might be a red to green, might be a follow-through day, and maybe a breakout through the 750 area tomorrow. And lastly, I have GES, which is trading right now and after hours at 14.14. So it's gapping up. It had trouble with 14 here. It didn't quite get there here. Pierced it here, but then sold off. And then on earnings, it's gapping up, and it's trading just over 14. I want to watch this one tomorrow. It might be a gap and go, but it also might be a decent short. So it's one of those that I want to watch trade, and I'll show you an example of something like that. For me, it's gapping up into, recent highs. So it's kind of a better short setup than a long, but I'll see how it trades. And so GES is going to be on watch. And I'll give you an example of that. This morning, I threw Cree on the gap playlist because it was gapping down below 21 bucks. And I looked at the daily chart, and man, it bounced from 2075 here, 2082 here. So below 21 on the gap down to me was interesting as a long. And I'll switch to twos. And it just took off out of the gate. And then I mentioned this flag in chat. I said, over this flag, this one might head up, or whatever I said. Something about pointing out this flag in chat. And then when it kind of broke the flag here, I threw out an order at 21.17, 4,000 shares. And I mean, I must have missed it by 2 or 3 pennies, which was really heartbreaking because it ended up going all the way up to 23.40. So anyway, that's an example of a gap down into support, and again, guess might be a gap up into resistance, so might be looking for a short, but it also might gap and go. So I'm looking at that one with an open mind, and it's one of those where people say, what's the setup you're looking for? And my answer is, I'll know it when I see it, right? If it gives one, just like Cree. Very, very nice pop and a very clean little tight flag there. Unfortunately, I missed it. I showed everybody in chat my order that because it was time stamped. I had to miss that by like a nickel or something. Anyway, it took off pretty quick, as you can see. Would have been a week maker, though. Anyway, enough babbling. Hope to see you guys at happy hour tomorrow. I'll probably show you some trade setups, from the week or from last week or something. I'll probably show a couple, but mostly I just want to talk about day trading, and it's not going to be structured at all. There'll be a chat room so you guys can ask questions or tell stories yourself. We're just going to be having drinks and chatting, honestly, and looking forward to it. All right, have a great night. See you all tomorrow.